Hi, I'm Marshall Tuck, and I'm running for California State Superintendent of Public Instruction. I'm a Bay Area kid. I grew up in San Mateo and Burlingame and Hillsborough down the street, and I'm 45 years old. I have a 7-year-old son, my son Mason, and my wife actually is first-generation immigrant from Hong Kong.
My name is Han-Song Zhang. I'm a chief scientist at a company named Niantic, and which is normally known as the PokemonGo company. But Harry Potter is next. In any case, I'm here for Marshall Tuck because I'm a father of twin daughters, and they are 10 years old, and they go to a Bullis charter school. And we think Marshall is the real reformer for California education, and we support him 100%.
I'm running for state superintendent because we need to give every child a quality education. We need to make sure every child has the same chance my wife had and the same chance that the students in the schools that I led had. And unfortunately right now in California, we're not educating all kids. As we're sitting here right now, there's 6.2 million kids in public schools in the state of California, and over 3 million cannot read and write at grade level. Over 3 million. Think about that. We're in the Silicon Valley. We know what it takes to get a good job in the 21st century economy, the most competitive economy in the history of humankind, and over 3 million kids can't read and write at grade level. So we need to change that. We need a quality public education for every child. That means we have to support our teachers, make sure every child has a strong teacher in front of them. We need to make sure we have really good school leaders. We have to give our kids a 21st century curriculum. Right now in California, only 20% of kids have access to computer science, even though we know that that's a subject that all kids should have access to. We gotta make sure our parents are more involved in our public schools. And my work in the last 16 years has been in public schools in Los Angeles, where we were able to go into some of the most challenging schools in LA, and we doubled graduation rates for our kids. And we had real strong improvement and sent a lot more kids to college, because that's where our children need to be and where they need to go. It's nice that he mentioned he has 2 kids at work that go to Bullis Charter School, which is a public school not too far from where we are. And that's a school where they give their teachers a lot more support and flexibility. And not surprisingly, as your children experience, when we support our teachers, give them more flexibility to be creative, we see incredible things. I visited Bullis Charter School once, and the 3rd graders were working on a 3D printer to create their own imaginary animals in their imaginary world. And that's just amazing to think about our 8th graders doing that. And that's what all kids should have access to. And when we support our schools and our teachers, those are the kind of programs that they put in place in our schools. And I believe that you can see how happy he is about the school for his child. We need to make sure all 6.2 million kids in public schools in California have a chance at a better education. They need to go to a school like Bullis, and they need a great public school.
这个 charter school 的这个理念，这个理念呢，是一个跟Silicon Valley 跟我们的这个高科技行业非常一致的一个理念。那为什么要有 charter school 呢？就是说呢，California 的关于特许学校的这个法律呢是 by Gary Hart，from 20 some years ago。然后呢就是为了支持在教育方面的创新和探索，就是说让大家可以用别的方法 alternative 的方法来进行教学。其实呢就是这种创新的概念在教育系统的一个应用。所以就是比如说在环保方面，这里面这里的学校呢跟有一些比如说保护大海龟啊这样的组织紧密的合作，然后呢把跟这个有关的比如说海洋的海流以及这个动物的迁徙，所有的这些科学的科目拿到一起来，放在一个课程的一个 project 里面然后就可以让学生统一的学到这个，然后呢他们学好了以后呢要做自己的演讲，然后让家长都去看，我们都去看确实做得很好。他们也会做自己的比如说我2个女儿比较喜欢画画， 他们就会按照这个主题来画画，然后呢也会拿到那个比如说这个环保机构的网站上去刊登，引起大家更好的这个环保意识。
We need big reform to the current system. You know, we all know that public schools are so important. We both have children. They go to public schools, and we want our children to have a chance at a great future. And right now, there's 6.2 million kids in public schools in California, and over 3 million can't read and write at grade level. Over 3 million. Their future is over before it begins. So we have to have real change in our public schools. It starts with we need to invest in our teachers and principals. Nothing more important in a school than the teacher in front of a child. We also need to give those teachers and principals much more flexibility to do project-based learning, to bring excitement and energy. We need more schools like Bolus that have a 3D printer for third graders and combine that with their art class. And we need to invest more in funding our schools better and getting our parents more involved. We know when parents are more involved in public schools, our kids have more success. In the public schools I led in Los Angeles, we had a parent college. On Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., our parents went to school to learn how to get more involved in their children's education. And if we support our teachers, if we give kids the real opportunity for great classes, if we get our parents more involved, then we'll have real success in our schools. The public schools I led, we doubled graduation rates, and we show what's possible. But every child in California needs a better public school, and it's time for real change in our public schools. Well, I think the biggest difference is I've done it before. I'm an educator. I've spent 16 years working in public schools. I helped create a charter school network. As I mentioned, helped open 10 new public charter schools. 8 of those 10 recognized now amongst the best public schools in the country. I then worked and did turnaround work for district public schools, and graduation rates were 36% when we started. They're 81% today. So I've done this work before and shown what's possible for our kids. My opponent is a career politician. He's been a politician for 15 years, not an education leader. And this position is the top educator in the state. It needs to be somebody who's actually delivered for our children, who's improved our public schools, not just another politician. And that's the biggest difference. And also, like, we need real change in our public school. And we also, the difference is I want to bring real change to our public schools. The current public school system, it isn't working for all kids. I want every child to have a chance to send their kid to a good public school, to go to college and have a career. And my opponent's more of the same. I think that he's really about the current system, which isn't working. So we need somebody who's an educator, who's going to bring real change, not a career politician who supports the status quo.
Right. So let me point out that what he, Marshall, and his opponent both agrees is that the education system in California needs reform. Okay. So the question is, who's the best reformer? I think Marshall, he has done it. He's the best reformer.
I'm not Chinese American, but my wife is, as I mentioned, so I'm actually quite familiar with the Chinese culture. And as I said before, she came over to this country when she was 5 years old. Her mom worked in a sweatshop. Her dad swept floors, and she got the Ivy League education. She went to Columbia undergrad and into Harvard Business School. In our state, I think it's got to be about college affordability. You know, California, we have the best public university system in the country, but we haven't been investing in that university system, and it's gotten really expensive for all families. And so, you know, as a state, we used to invest a lot more in our universities than our prisons. And today, you know what? We invest more in prisons than our universities. That has to change. That's something I'm going to change. We got to make college more affordable, and then also make sure that whether it be a Chinese American or all of our California students have a really strong high school education, so they do have the opportunity to go to Ivy League or others. But what the state superintendent can do in the short term is really help with college affordability and making sure that every child who has a chance to go to college can afford college, and then also ensuring that they have the opportunity to get into college and have the right high school experience.
I really think my daughters benefited from their education at the Bullis Charter School, and the teachers are fantastic. The programs are great. The art program and the drama program are second to none. Essentially, I was totally amazed by the things they. So with that in mind, I want to share the message, like this format of education works, and it should be allowed to thrive and to exist, right? And also, as I mentioned just now, I think the spirit of the initial California law for charter schools is in line with the spirit of Silicon Valley, which is to move with time, to be able to experiment, to be able to innovate, to be able to do things in a different way, and move our communities and the people in general into the future. Right.
And you could see how excited you are talking about your children's education. We want every parent in California to have that same kind of excitement and that same kind of belief in his school. He believes that where he's sending his children, they're going to have a chance at a great future, and you can just see it in your face when you talk about the school. Let's make sure every parent in this state can say the same thing with the same excitement and have that real hope about what's possible for their children. To do that, we need real change in our public schools. To do that, we need new leadership that's delivered on this work before.
Yeah, I'm sure you can sense the real passion from Marshall too.
Well, I'm a public school parent. My son is Mason, and he's part Asian American. My wife is Asian American, and we're a household that prioritizes our public schools. I've also worked in public schools for 16 years and seen thousands and thousands of kids have more success. And we need every child in the state to have a quality education. We need real change in our public schools. We need a leader who is an educator and not just another politician, and somebody who's going to prioritize every single child. And that's what my work has been. That's what my life is about. And I look forward to getting in this position. I hope you'll vote for me, and look forward to bringing real opportunity for our children and making sure every parent can have that same kind of pride and excitement about their schools as we've seen here today.
Yeah, I would say be involved and vote for the real reformer for California education, Marshall Tuck. 你会在选票的最后面找到 Marshall Tuck 的名字，请投他一票。
Great, and when you vote on November 6th, make sure to go all the way to the bottom of the ballot, because that's where we are. It's an important position, but it's way down, so vote for Marshall Tuck, and looking forward to working with your children.